Alright guys, so this is going to be the answers to the equivalent expressions quiz that you got back on Friday. So a reminder that the retake for that is due this Friday, the 9th. And feel free to use this however you want to help you. So if I'm looking at questions 1 and 2, it involves distributive property. Distributive property means that everything in this expression in the parentheses has to be multiplied by the number that's outside the parentheses. So that number -7 will be multiplied by b, and over here by 3. Let me just switch colors. So -7 times b is -7b. And then I'm going to bring down this subtraction sign. And -7 times 3 would be -21. You definitely could have left your answer like this, but I know minus a negative is not something that we're really comfortable with, so you definitely also could have used add the opposite. Let me change colors again. To write -7b, I change subtraction to addition, and I also change the sign of the second number. So -7b plus 21. The second example, same thing, distributive property. I'm going to multiply the 6 by everything inside the parentheses, so the -c and the 8. 6 times -c is -6c. Again, I'm going to bring down the plus sign. And then 6 times 8 is 48. This one, your final answer is just 6c plus 48. I saw a lot of people, I saw a lot of people who tried to break this down further and combine the 6 and the 48 somehow. And remember, you can't do that. When we're adding and subtracting, we can only combine like terms. So the c has a coefficient of -6. I would only be able to combine that with other c's. I cannot combine it with just 48. Let me get rid of the writing and scroll down to our next problem. So these two problems involve combining like terms. So an example of what I was just talking about. Our first one, I'm going to use the strategy where I identify the ones that I can combine. So I'm going to draw boxes around 8d plus a -10d. And then I'll draw triangles around these other two that I can combine. So -3 plus 8. Make sure you're including the negative sign in with the number. That negative sign is attached to the number that comes after it. So that subtract 3 can be looked at as -3. So here, the two that I can start combining are 8d plus -10d. 8 plus -10 is -2. So this would be -2d. And then same thing here. -3 plus 8 is a +5. So my final answer is -2d plus 5. Question 4, same idea. These aren't as nicely next to each other as the first one, so I'm going to draw triangles around the terms that include the variable. And then I'll switch colors and draw boxes around the terms that don't, that are just the constant. I'm making sure to include the signs. So very first piece is this +6f plus a -7f. +6 plus a -7 is a -1, so I can write -1f or -f. That's what you're more likely to see. And then same thing, -8 plus 10 would be a +2. So my final answer there is -f plus 2. If we go down to 5 and 6, they involved both distributive property and combining like terms. First, we need to take care of the distributive property. So in this first example, question 5, we're distributing the 4 with this v and then this -5. So 4 times v is 4v. I'm going to bring down that addition sign. And then 4 times -5, -20. I still have the rest of this expression here. So the 5v plus a -3. Oops, and then plus. Now I need to go ahead and identify the like terms. So I have 5v plus 4v, which is 9v. And then I've got this negative 3 plus negative 20. And so I end up with 9v plus a negative 23. And that's as much as I can do with that one. And then if I look at number 6, I'll start with distributive property. And I saw a lot of interesting answers with this one. I saw people that tried to combine the c and the 5 first. That does not work. Those are not like terms. We needed to start with distributive property. I saw a lot of people who tried to subtract the 7 minus 6 first. And even though you can subtract 7 minus 6, remember when we talk about order of operations that this whole expression here is a grouping symbol. And we have to take care of grouping symbols like parentheses first. So I'm going to have negative 6 times c is negative 6c. I'm going to bring down my addition sign. And negative 6 times 5 is negative 30. Don't forget, I still have the 7 that I need to bring down. I only have one term with a c, so that is going to stay negative 6c. But I have this 7 plus negative 30. 7 plus negative 30 is negative 23. And I'm left with negative 6c minus 23, or a negative 6c plus a negative 23. And you can use these same ideas for completing the retake, the 6 questions that are on the back.